been so razzle-frazzle McDazzled recently that, like, genuinely I feel like I'm losing my mind, and the comic industry is not helping with that fact. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Last Week in Comics, where we discuss the last week in comics. We're in one of those weird weeks where there's not a lot of stuff that I have read, particularly this time because of the whole DC Next Level initiative. And again, the only series from the initial batch that I'm going to be keeping up with is Zatanna. However, I do have a particular interest in Absolute Batman this week. So Absolute Batman number 19 came out, and we got the introduction of the Robins. And by God, maybe Absolute Batman has finally gotten me. So for all of you guys who really wanted me to read Absolute Batman, because, like, I'll admit, it is good. It's just, I don't like Batman like that. Absolute Batman might genuinely get me to read Batman. And it's for one particular reason. So, Absolute Batman introduced the Robins, the Absolute Robins, plural, which is like this group that Slade is devising to be the non-masked vigilantes of Gotham. The lineup is, of course, mainstay Robins are usually brought up in adaptations: Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake. However, instead of being like, oh, here's Damian Al Ghul, they instead went, here's Stephanie Brown, the most underrated Robin, if I'm being, well, not the most underrated Robin, because they also included Duke Thomas. Duke Thomas fans, we are finally winning! Yay! Grunt sound effects! Woohoo! Duke Thomas! And you know what? Basically having them openly be like, yeah, Duke Thomas is one of the main Robins. Duke Thomas is a Robin, saying that with their full chest, I appreciate. Motherfucker was in a book called We Are Robin, and people, well, look, I don't understand why Slade Wilson is the one organizing this, and I'm a little bit fearful, because, again, I don't trust a single man to write Deathstroke or take any of his crimes seriously. However, Duke Thomas is there. So, from at least this point onward, I reluctantly will be keeping up with Absolute Batman. Or at least, I will be keeping up with Absolute Batman in relation to Duke Thomas. So, congratulations, all you people who keep on telling me to read Absolute Batman. You win! Speaking of books I now have to start keeping up with, okay, so we're getting the New Titans team in New Titans issue 24. It seems to be a short arc that's kind of trying to switch up the status quo in a way that, like, I'm gonna be completely honest, the Titans desperately need. Because obviously they're introducing a new wave of Titans. Tara's gonna be in it, Stephanie's gonna be in it, and Stephanie seems to be the leader of this new era of Titans. Another win for Stephanie, gang! If only we can end up in Batgirl again. Stephanie seems to be the new leader of the New Titans, which is a godsend, really, especially for a character who has been paid absolute dust. But, so I'm very glad about that. And then they introduce a new character called Eva, who is, quote-unquote, the daughter of tomorrow. Oh, also Cyborg's not Cyborg anymore. He's, normal, and then, like, the robot part of him is separate. I don't know what's going on in Titans. If I'm gonna be so fucking for real right now. Yeah, Stephanie Brown's leader. They also introduced Eva, who is the daughter of tomorrow. She seems to, okay, this is gonna sound mean, and I don't mean this in a mean way. It does feel like they're reheating Viv Vision's nachos right now. Which I don't mind. I'm fine with it. If Marvel's not going to utilize Viv correctly, then at least someone will. I'm interested in seeing how the Titans go. I'm interested to see where Titans go. I don't know. I feel like we're introducing a lot of really interesting concepts. An interesting concept, but I'm afraid that in, like, however long Tate Brombald's on the book, the second that Tate Brombald is back off Titans, we're going to just revert back to the status quo, which I am sick and tired of. I'm sick and tired of us just doing 2003 Teen Titans. I'm so sick and tired of this. We can have other Titans. If you're not going to bring back Young Justice, please at least give us other Titans. Okay, and then we're gonna talk about Wonder Woman, but we're not gonna talk about Wonder Woman in the way that I think people want me to talk about Wonder Woman, because I did receive a tweet from one of my followers saying that, like, oh, the opening page of Wonder Woman by Tom King after, Stephanie Williams' amazing 2 issues, would seem like a direct dig at, or it seemed like something that, I, in particular, would hate. And let me be completely honest, I'm not fucking reading Wonder Woman, except, I will be reading Wonder Woman soon. That is to say that war criminal Tom King got kicked off the book for another 2 issues. Starting in issue 35 and 36, Stephanie Williams will be taking over the book again. Just for those 2 issues, reminder people, it's just those 2 issues. So, if you're looking at Wonder Woman and you're like, oh god, I can't believe they're doing this, just buy issues 35 and 36 when Stephanie Williams is on the book. Again, Stephanie Williams, we saw really good work in issues 29 and I think 30. Stephanie Williams should be the mainline Wonder Woman writer, and I genuinely don't know what is happening with DC that they keep on denying her rightful place as the Wonder Woman writer. I don't know what's going on. I'm really hoping that, it seems that, like, because 29 and 30 did so well in sales, they seem to have decided to greenlight another 2 issues by Stephanie Williams, and judging by how long it takes to make a comic, it seems like either pre-sales were so good, or the actual sales of the comic were so good that they decided to give Stephanie Williams another chance. All I know is that I'm excited for it. I am so glad that war criminal Tom King is off the book, and I hope that it becomes more permanent than it is currently. One can dream. One can dream that Tom King is no longer going to be on Wonder Woman. My one hope in the world. Tom King off Wonder Woman. I'm just going to kind of list off the other releases of this week. Again, this seemed to be a very dead week. It seems like how DC is currently doing their books is that any week that Absolute Batman comes out, no other books are allowed to come out. Sometimes. Like, they'll put Batman on, like, the odd week. Because, like, I feel like at the beginning of the month, there's a lot of issues. At the end of the month, there's a lot of issues. But then, like, they put Absolute Batman either on the, second or third week of the month. And then, like, it's, like, the only thing that comes out and the only thing that people talk about. So I'm not really, like, I've been so extremely busy. I genuinely have not had time to read the other books. But I do want you, the audience, to know and stay informed of what's coming out so that you can go to your local comic book shops and pick these up for yourself, or go online and go read them if they interest you. Of course, suffice it to say, let me go over the 3 Next Level books that came out this week. Batwoman #2, obviously, by Greg Rucka. I enjoyed the first issue. I don't think I have the mental capacity to keep up with Batwoman, though. I don't like Batman. This week was Batman heavy. Like, it's a lot of people who are adjacent to Batman, and in some cases, like in the case of Stephanie Brown and Duke Thomas, I appreciate that. In the case of Catwoman, which also came out with issue 86, Catwoman is a very good book right now. You should definitely read it, especially if you like This is going to sound weird. If you like Black Cat, you should read Catwoman. And also Nightwing 137 came out. It's just too much Batman for me. I don't like Batman. Other DC Next Level books that came out, Deathstroke the Terminator, issue 2. I have not heard good things about the Deathstroke book. Again, my opinion on Deathstroke is that I don't trust most writers to handle him. Mostly because I feel like a lot of writers decide to just make him, like, cool villain and either ignore the whole Tara thing and also ignore him. I know this book in particular is focusing on how terrible he is to his kids, but in a divorced father way, where, like, you know how, like, some dads will, like, get, like, very, like, they get very mean about their children when the children don't like them. That's how this book is reading right now to people. Which is odd. I feel like there's so many things you can... I'm not saying that, like, no one can write Deathstroke ever. I'm saying that no one has, like, the capacity to actually write a good Deathstroke book. I don't know the best way to describe it. Just, like, it's not good. And speaking of not good, Lobo. What the fuck do you mean Skottie Young's on Lobo? Okay, I have not heard good things about Lobo. Issue 2 came out. I've not heard anything about issue 2. I do remember issue 1, and the general consensus was it's not good. Like, if you are a Lobo fan, you will not like it. Personally, I'm not a Lobo fan. I'm a Crush fan, and Crush isn't in it. So, a Skottie Young Lobo book sounds like something that would be good. Like, something that people would want. And it might be because Skottie Young isn't doing both the art and the writing. But, like... it's not good. I don't know what happened with that one. It's a little bit disappointing because I do genuinely like Skottie Young. Okay, and next up, we also have some Superman Unlimited issue 12. It is Superman Day today. I personally am not celebrating Superman Day. Mostly because Superman Day was created for the express purpose of doing marketing for the Supergirl movie, which is, of course, based off of Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow. And of course, as you know on this channel, we do not support the war criminal Tom King. So, just getting that out of the way. Oh, they're doing Reign of the Superboy shit. I forgot that, like, in this one, like, John Kent's fucking, like, Tomorrow Man, and then you have the younger John Kent. It seems like they dropped that plot pretty quickly. So, I don't know what Dan Slott's doing, man. And that is to say, as someone who genuinely... sometimes does like Dan Slott. Very passively and only through the frame of Wyatt Wingfoot, though. No other reason. And then last but not least, from DC's Vertigo line, we have End of Life 3 by Kyle Starks happened. I feel like DC needs to start releasing more books because, of course, the only Vertigo book I was going to read was the one by Mariko Tamaki. But, like, I feel like they spread out these... I get why you would want to spread them out. You want to give each series, like, their own breathing room. But I feel like we could do, like, a number one, like, a week or a number one every 2 weeks. And it would feel pretty good instead of, like, 3 number ones 1 week and then we wait, like... 2 months until we get another set of number ones. Like, I feel like there's just a better distribution of it that makes, like, certain weeks not feel as, like, bleak. As to say, we're going fast today because I am almost late for the podcast. And because we're going fast this week, we're already at the indies. Woo! Okay, there's really one indie book I want to talk about. And it's one that I've been anticipating because I'm still fucking mad over the cancellation of Starfleet Academy. And that is to say, it is Star Trek Starfleet Academy Lost Contact issue 1. That finally came out. First of all, we got Jaden and Kyle confirmed as boyfriends. Like, that's just what it is now. Kyle's there. That is, okay, this is, okay. So, like, the entire plot of this book is that they are on, like, sort of like a, practice run mission to help, better train them. Hopefully you've all seen Starfleet Academy. If you haven't, I'm going to beat you with a stick. Starfleet Academy's good. Go watch it. But anyway, so they are in, shenanigans, Star Trek shenanigans happens. And they lose contact with the Athena, which is the ship in Starfleet Academy. So the away team is Caleb Mira, of course. Okay, let me start over. So the away team is Genesis Life, Jaden Krog, Kyle. I'm not saying his last name. I don't know what the fuck Kyle's last name is. Tamarina and Caleb Mir, of course, the main character. And I do appreciate that our first sort of foray into Starfleet Academy's continuation in the comics is not Caleb-centered, it's Genesis-centered, because I feel like there's a lot you can do with Genesis that was underutilized in the actual show. This is to say, they are getting a season 2. I just wish that they would have had more episodes. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of people pretending like Star Trek can exist in 10 episodes. Star Trek cannot exist in 10 episodes. What are we doing here? You have to give it a 22 episode series. I don't care if that's not how TV's made anymore. Fuck you. Anyway, suffice it to say, I really like the dynamics that it's setting up in this book. I like that I think all the characters are interacting as their show counterparts do. However, I have one question. Where the fuck is Darum? Where the fuck is Darum? I get that this is like a collaboration between like the War College and Starfleet Academy, which is why you have Kyle and Tamarina there. But where is Darum, and why isn't he causing problems between Kyle and Jaden? This is like, okay, like, I know the Klingon's gay. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I want more drama with his relationships. I'm tired of sometimes when gay people get put into things, there's no drama for us ever, and I like, okay, you cannot have a fucking episode that's your version of Amok Time, and then not expect me to ship those two characters. Like, what were you thinking, Starfleet Academy? And why am I not, like, I'm starting to bother Jaden's actor about this, because, like, what do you mean? What do you mean you guys did Amok fucking Time? You did the closest thing you could do to Amok Time, except with a lot of the wrestling and sexy fighting. You did the closest thing you could do to Amok Time, and you're telling me that the Pride special is going to be about Jaden and Kyle. You're telling me the Pride special's about Jaden and Kyle? And where's Darum? Where is Darum? That is to say, okay, I got off topic. The second I start talking about Star Trek, I start getting very off topic. Go read Starfleet Academy, the comic. Go watch Starfleet Academy, the show. I'm so sad that this show that's so good got taken away from us so soon. They didn't really even get a chance. They're currently actually auctioning off parts of the set. Like, that's how canceled it is. And I am very sad because it does feel like they just kind of caved into the hate campaign. And I'm worried about that for Star Trek, because Star Trek has always been a woke show. If you didn't want a woke show, take your ass back to Star Wars. So to see, them get so much bad press about having a gay Klingon, about Sam, about Caleb, like, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I want Starfleet, I want Star Trek to continue. And I hate all the old heads who think that, like, race and, like, gender and sexuality weren't ever present in Star Trek. There are things that, like, specifically hit harder for Sisko because he is a black man. There are things that concern Janeway that specifically hit harder even because she's a woman. I think most famously, the fucking Trill episode, the on-screen lesbian kiss, not lesbian, the on-screen sapphic kiss that they had in the Trill episode, that was all an allegory for gay people. Just because they're not facing what we consider bigotry in Star Trek does not mean that they aren't talking about discrimination. Like, even, like, the episode where, like, Jadzia and, Worf get married. Like, there's so much conversations happening about, discrimination and, like, okay. We're going too much on Star Trek. There's more stuff I have to cover in this. Go read this. Please. Go watch Starfleet Academy. This show is so good. I don't care what anyone else says about that. So we do have a couple of announcements for this week. Ram V just came out and said that New Gods is going to be returning. Woohoo! I don't know when yet. I don't think that even Ram V knows yet. They took a short break, I think mostly to give the artists and writers time, but it will be returning soon. Still under, I think, Ram V. So be on the lookout for that. But we did get a just one book announcement, which was a little bit weird, which is essentially DC just announced that they are going to have a new summer special called DC's Hawk Girl Summer. I love the puns that they're doing with these. So, for just a brief description, summer has arrived and so has your perfect juicy beach read. Hot off the press, this collection of scorching new stories showcases the babes and bombshells of the DCU slaying the summer. Join Hawk Girl, Catwoman, Red Hood, Grace Choi, Thunder, Shining Knight, Kid Quick, and more as the female furies dominate the beach, the boardwalk, and any bad guys in their way. Really, I'm just excited that Kendra is getting more. Although the biggest controversy that this book did have is so they released 2 covers. One has, of course, Hawk Girl. I'm a little mad that they whitewashed Kendra. They did whitewash Kendra, but she's not fully white. I don't know why they did that. But second off, they had a very weird cover of Barbara where she is with all the Robins as, like, the Batgirl representation, and I'm like, I feel like if you're calling it Hawk Girl Summer, I feel like a man shouldn't be there. I feel like you could do a cover showcasing, the 3 Batgirls. Like, something's wrong with DC. Really, everything else is just previews, and honestly, I don't want to cover Kyle Rayner's new villain being internet trolls. I don't want to fucking cover that shit. I'm gonna cover it when it comes out. And same with Absolute fucking Green Arrow. I don't know why we're getting fucking the solicits for it already, where it tells us that, like, oh yeah, Roy Harper's gonna be there. Why the fuck is Roy Harper there? What the fuck is he here? Okay. Anyway, that's it for Last Week in Comics. I'm done. We have to go film, Ash and Their Fantastic Friends, my live show, and what might be your next recommended video. Or it might be a comics terminology episode where I give you how to be better about comics. Or it might be my interview with Ryan North, which I'm still shocked that I did. I'm still in awe that I even managed to do that. So, down here is is the rest of the playlist for Last Week in Comics. I've been doing this since November 2024. So if there's a book that you are like, man, I wish that you covered it, I probably did. Over here is the subscribe button. Again, White Winfoot video essay is incoming. I'm finishing filming by the end of the month, and then we are just straight editing it. We're just going. We're constantly going. And if you have any ideas for comic terminology, leave them in the description down below. I have to go film that. I have to go do my live show now. So, and cut.